has Lauren, thank you, Lauren. As Lauren mentioned, we will have a couple polling questions throughout. And before we get started, we'd like to let our presenters know who we have participating. So if you could take a moment to answer the polling question of what type of organization are you representing? Are you a government agency, a municipality, a nonprofit, a private for-profit, a community member, or others? And you can add your answer in the chat box. And I will give you a couple of seconds. And we do appreciate everybody for participating in our polling questions. Okay. And the results are the type of organizations presented today. 50% are nonprofit agencies. We do have 41% from government agencies, welcome, and 9% from municipalities. So welcome everybody, and thank you for taking your time out to join us for our TAP meeting today. I would now like to review the agenda for today. So we have on the agenda Valley Metro updates from the City of Phoenix. We do have a presentation from Maricopa County Emergency Management. Our agency spotlight is United Cerebral Palsy of Central Arizona. I will provide some regional human services transportation updates, and then we will have updates from our sub-regional mobility managers. Thank you. Before we go to our first presentation, we have another polling question. And the question is, do you or your consumers use public transit? Select all that apply. I use bus or light rail. My agency's consumers use bus or light rail. I use Dial-A-Ride or paratransit services, or my agency consumers use Dial-A-Ride or paratransit services. And thank you for everybody again for participating. And we'll give you once again a couple of seconds. Okay. The results are in, and 70% said my consumers use Dial-A-Ride or paratransit services. Next was a 37% that said I use bus or light rail. I'm also one of those. And then next we have my agency consumers use bus or light rail, or I use Dial-A-Ride and paratransit services. Again, thank you thank you all for participating in our polling questions. Public transportation is a great transportation option when it's available and appropriate for consumers. Has our polling just, the results just, illustrated. As a result, so we really thank Valley Metro for being here today. They are a great partner. They're in providing information on public transit. So thank you. I would like to welcome Trevor Ebersol for being here today to provide, who is the Paratransit and Right Choice Program Supervisor to provide updates on Valley Metro. Thank you, Trevor.
Great, thank you, Dee Dee. Good afternoon, everybody. I would like to start out by introducing Tanya Pina. She's my peer, another Paratransit Right Choice Program Supervisor, and along with her today, she and I will be providing a very brief overview on the paratransit and ride choice programs for you today. So with that, I'll hand it off to Tanya.
Good morning. And so for those of you who might be, I'm sorry, good afternoon, who might be looking for me on screen, I'm listed under Trevor's name because I had to sign in with his link. So I'm not Trevor, but thanks, Trevor. Next slide, please. Sorry, one more. There you go. All right, so since July of 2024 up until the end of January, we've provided approximately 180,000 one-way trips. For the same time frame, the on-time performance has been at 90.31%. We've received 360 total valid comments, again, for the same time period, and 82 kudos, or also known as compliments. We continue on a daily basis to work to improve our system performance, and our goals are to enhance our customer experience by improving the system's reliability. And I would like to mention, I did skip one piece, I apologize. On the customer comments, most of those comments that were valid basically revolved around service delays and ride delays. So that was the trend for that. So I apologize for missing that piece. But yeah, we just continue to work daily to improve the service reliability and the system performance. Next, I'll pass it on to Trevor if there are no questions.
Great, thank you, Tanya. And if we go into the next slide, I'll talk about the ride choice performance. So from July 1 through January 31 of 2025, ride choice performed just over 200,000 trips. And the percentage of on-time trips, we have broken down into two categories for the same time period, July 1 to January 31. For the on-demand trips, which you call up right now and then expect the vehicle to be there within 30 minutes, or actually within 45 minutes, those trips are performed at 96.26% success rate. And the pre-scheduled trips, which has a performance window of 30 minutes, their on-time performance rating is at 81.32%. So we're doing really good. The pre-scheduled is improving as we're monitoring any early arrivals, and so you're going to continue to see that number rise. So our customer comments, they primarily revolve around service delays, and from the period of July 1 again to January 31, there are a total of 370 comments, 245 of which are compliments. So you can see the complaints, valid complaints are very low for the ride choice program, with 245 of those 370 being compliments. That's fantastic. So it's a very successful program. Operations, currently we're using 13 providers that have a total of 139, sorry for the duplicated digits there, 139 wheelchair accessible vehicles. That number has increased. We the prior months we had 122 wheelchair accessible vehicles, but now we have 139 because we brought on 2 new providers, which is great for the program. Our goals for FY25 are to work with the providers to improve their pre-scheduled performance times that I talked about above, and for a system-wide enhancement. Those are the updates for paratransit and ride choice. We'd be happy to take any questions or hand it back to you, Dee Dee. Thank you.
Thank you, Trevor, and thank you for the information. Do we have any questions for Trevor? And Trevor too. No, just okay. I'm looking in the chat to see if we have any questions, and of course you can always unmute yourself. But see no questions, we'll go ahead and move on. Thank you, Trevor, and Valley Metro for the updates. Our next polling question is, are you a Section 5310 subrecipient representative? Yes, no, or no, but would like more information. I'll give you a couple seconds. And as I noted before, thank you all for participating in our polling questions. Okay. Wow. Okay. The results are in, and 76% of you are subrecipients. So thank you. And this is a good reminder that those are that who are subrecipients of Section 5310, it is a federal requirement for you to participate in coordination efforts, and attending Transportation Ambassador Program meetings are one way of participating in coordination efforts. So thank you for being here today. 18% of you said no, and the rest were no, but would like more information. If you would like more information regarding the Section 5310 application process or the program, please feel free to contact myself or Lauren and reach out to us, and we can get back with you with more information. So I would like to introduce our next presenter here today. So thank you. I am pleased to introduce Stephanie Rangel from the City of Phoenix Public Transit Department, who is the grants administrator and our designated recipient who will provide updates on the Section 5310 program. Thank you, Stephanie.
Thank you, Dee Dee, and good afternoon, everyone. We are pretty busy with the funding from 24's grant that has been sent to FTA for review. We're waiting to hear back from them. So we are in the process of updating the agreements and sending those out as well. And then we're going to start kicking off the 25, well, we've kicked off the 25 application that was earlier, and we'll start that. And that's kind of really all. We've had some last minute craziness here at Phoenix with the change of administration so it's been quite crazy and hectic for us here. So, but other than that, if there's anything you have any questions on, again, the email is section5310@phoenix.gov, and Eleanor or myself will, or other staff can answer anything for you.
Okay, thank you, Stephanie. Do we have any questions for Stephanie at this time? Again, you can unmute yourself or you can type it in the chat. And Lauren and myself will be monitoring the chat. Okay, Stephanie, I think you're doing such a really good a job with the program. So is Stephanie Rangel and Eleanor Perez, who is both are representing Phoenix on the Section 5310 program. They've been very helpful and providing assistance, and we greatly appreciate your support with this program. So thank you. Okay. I do have a question for Trevor, if we can go back. Trevor, are you still here?
I am still
Okay.
here.
Okay. Trevor, is Right Choice looking to expand services into the Santan Valley portion of MAG in the near future?
Those are not discussions that I'm aware of. I can tell you that Right Choice does perform services for the entire Maricopa County boundaries. So any agencies that wish to join the Right Choice program, I would encourage you to call either myself, send me an email at tebersall@valleymetro.org. I'll put that in the chat so that we can initiate discussions, but I would have to pass that along to management. Does that answer your question?
Nina? Yes, it does. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have any other questions for Trevor or Stephanie at this time? Okay. Seeing none, we'll move on to the next presentation. The next presentation, Maricopa County Emergency Management. We do have Stephanie Sherman with us and Donovan Bowling. I just wanted to say I am very thankful that they are both here today. I think this is a timely presentation. We know that there's been some events with our neighboring state. And for myself, I was looking at what type of resources or where could I find information on emergency management. And I did come across Maricopa County's website, and I was really surprised at how much information was on there, the videos that was available, and I thought that would be really important information for our participants here today. So I am so happy with our next presenters. Again, it's Stephanie Sherman and Donovan Moline from the Maricopa County Emergency Management Division. Thank you.
Hi, Dee Dee. Oh, I
Hi.
can hear Symphony.
I'm Symphony Sherman, Communication Specialist and Public Information Officer for Maricopa County Emergency Management. And again, I wanted to say thank you so much for this opportunity to come and talk to you all. I know we've been getting a lot of questions about our department and the resources we have. So definitely a great time to come and let you all know everything we do. We do have a change though. It's actually a great benefit for you all. Our deputy director is going to be doing the presentation, and that is Rich Pill. So I'm going to turn it over to him, and he is going to be telling you everything about MCDEM.
All right. Well, everything I can. So is my audio good?
It's perfect.
Perfect. All right. Well, thank you. So my name is Rich Peel. I'm Deputy Director here at Emergency Management. I'll be doing just a few slides on who we are and share our story. Do I have to tell someone to go to the next slide?
Yeah, just let me know and I can forward the slides for you.
Yep, next slide then. Okay, so we're going to talk about emergency preparedness, what we do here at Emergency Management, and share some resources for you, your constituents, and your customers of any of the services you provide. A lot of the photos in the presentation are actually photos from local emergencies and our response in action. Next slide. Very quickly, what we're going to touch on is what we do at MCDEM. So Maricopa County Department of Emergency Management, we'll colloquially call it MCDEM for short. We're going to talk about what we do. Really important to know what the hazards are that are affecting our communities, how we prepare for disasters, what our roles and capabilities are during a response, and then we'll leave it open to any questions anybody has online. Next slide. So the core of our mission is to keep communities safe. And so we do that through preparing, response, and recovering from disasters. We provide timely information. We coordinate with partners during emergencies, before, during, and after emergencies. Two of these photos on the slides are recent emergencies here in the county. The top one is from a particularly large scale flood in Gila Bend in 2021. The bottom photo is our team on site in Wickenburg last summer doing what's called a damage assessment. And so we were out there surveying homes and businesses destroyed due to a fire. Next slide. For any jurisdictions, it's really important to know what the hazards are that you face, and it's the same with our residents. So a lot of what we do is public outreach and preparedness, teaching the community what the hazards are. At the end of this slideshow, we have links and resources on our website that inform our residents what the hazards are here in the county. The big natural hazards that we plan for are wildfires, flooding, extreme heat, and then severe storm. There are other hazards out there. These are just 4 of the more in-your-face natural hazards, but we do have a nuclear power plant. There's always the threat of pandemic. There's cyber attacks, civil unrest. There's a lot of hazards that the county has. These are the kind of the big natural hazards that are most obvious to most residents. Next slide. So what do we do? Knowing that information, a lot of what we do is public outreach and trying to teach residents and individuals at the household and the individual level to have a plan. And so you can see that's at the core, at the center of the little graphic on the left is have a plan. And that's what we want all of our residents to know, is to come up with a strategy, come up with a plan, know your hazards. So in that plan, It involves having a plan before the event, having a meeting place, a designated predetermined location. Maybe it's a family member or a friend's home out of the threat area where you and your family can go to if you do have to evacuate. Practice, so it doesn't necessarily mean get in a car and drive somewhere, but know what your plan is. And then also have a piece of communication planning and know what type of communication systems that are out there to notify the residents that there's an emergency, but also what to do if cell phone networks aren't working or you don't have access to the internet. I think something that's interesting is the amount of people that don't know phone numbers. And so I've had to commit my wife's phone number to memory, but it was pretty hard. So I think if you grew up in a certain generation, you're more likely to remember phone numbers than not. But I think a lot of kids these days probably don't even know their parents' phone numbers. And so that's one thing that everybody can start doing is making sure family members have phone numbers written down, just in case cell phones are not working. Next slide. So in preparing for disasters, some of the important themes is to understand what are the priorities. And so anytime there's an emergency, the most important priority is going to be life safety. That's going to be what we here at the county focus on, but also when we're supporting the police and fire, first responders, they're going to be focused very much on life safety. After the event is when we turn into recovery, and I'll cover that in a slide, is how do we clean up? How do we restore homes and neighborhoods to how they were before, and also build back better so that they're more resilient in the future. Next slide. So what is the county's role during disaster? It's complicated. And so emergency management is, we're a system and we're working in a system of systems. So what that means is before an event, what we do is we have plans and procedures. We practice them. We develop the plans with our partners at the city and county and state level. And so it's important to have plans and test them before an event. During an emergency is we're providing support to the local jurisdiction, so the city, town, or tribe. We're also providing resource management, supporting that local jurisdiction and the police and fire departments with resources. We also provide coordination and collaboration. So we work with the first responders. We help set up evacuation and sheltering operations. We help send out public messaging on what to do and where to go. And so we're working in a system that complements other systems during an emergency. And these are two photos of our current emergency operations center here at Papago Park. Next slide. So like I said, on the last slide, we have quite a few responsibilities during an emergency or disaster. What we always do is we coordinate. And so we coordinate resources, we coordinate information, we coordinate staff, and we coordinate actions. We do that out of the Emergency Operations Center, which you can see here on the left. We implement those plans that were developed ahead of the emergency with our stakeholders. We assist the incident commander, the police and fire departments with notifying residents if they need to evacuate, where to go. And then we also focus on the unmet needs of the community. So people who are evacuated or impacted by an emergency are going to often have a lot of unmet needs. The most obvious one is going to be housing if they're evacuated. And so we work with our partners to meet those needs due to the emergency. Next slide. After the emergency, our role transitions to what's called the recovery phase. So during the recovery phase, we focus on the needs of our residents and their pets. We work on debris cleanup, and so we coordinate with some of our partners to assist in cleaning up residential and business operations. We support the residents who are impacted through mass care, so setting up shelters and feeding operations, not just for humans, but their household pets and livestock. And then we also assist, there's several mechanisms at the state and federal level to assist people who have been affected by disasters or emergencies. And so we set up operations and centers to help assist those residents who are impacted by a disaster. Next slide. Wireless emergency alerts. So if you've ever gotten a dust storm warning, and I'm sure if you've lived in Arizona more than a year, you probably have received a dust storm warning on your phone or an Amber Alert. Those are what we call a wireless emergency alert. It is a emerging technology utilizing cell phone networks to send real-time geolocated text messages from public safety officials. And so our agency is the Wireless Emergency Alert Authority for all Maricopa County. So if there is a need to notify residents of a protective action to evacuate, shelter in place, lockdown, avoid the area, that alert's going to come to our agency, and we will be transmitting it to only those people who are determined to be in a location that needs to know that information. Next slide. Rave alerts are somewhat similar, and the Maricopa Association of Government, MAG, one of their initiatives was the SENS Community Emergency Notification System. It's very similar technology. This Rave Alert is a system that is available to all cities and towns in the state of Arizona for their police and fire departments to send out messaging to residents. The biggest difference between this and the wireless emergency alert that I just spoke about is you have to opt in to get a Rave Alert. And so the town of Gilbert has a system, a notification system, where if you're a town resident, you can provide the town your phone number. And if there's sewer outages or water outages or anything affecting your specific neighborhood, they can reach out on the Rave system, send a notification to the residents. This is the same tool. It's just that you have to provide your local government entity your phone number in order for this to work. Next slide. Ready, Set, Go. This is a statewide communication tool that is used by all jurisdictions in the state of Arizona. And it's a system, it's a tool for letting residents know when to evacuate, when to be ready, and if a emergency is going to impact them. And so we'll go to next slide. The first set in the process is ready. There's really no change. Everyone should always be at a ready. And so what that means is always be in a ready state, understand your hazards, right? Build an emergency kit. So do those things that I spoke about earlier at the individual level. Is we always want our residents to be in a ready status. If we go to the next slide, the set is when we want our residents to take action. And so we're not asking them to go anywhere, but we want our residents to be prepared, start watching the news, start tuning into local media, so that if there is a need to evacuate or take action for their community, they've already packed their bags, they've already loaded the car, they're in a set status. And then the last and final, if we go to the next slide, is a go order. And so this is an example of a go order using the wireless emergency alert system that I spoke about earlier that we issued last summer for a fire. And this is directing people. So people who lived in this polygon based on cell phone towers, they'll receive that message that says go. It'll provide a link to our website, where on that website we'll have shelter information and additional important information for residents to understand the threat and what's going on. Next slide. So important takeaway that we want everybody on this presentation to be aware of is that we are power users on social media. Symphony, who you met before me, is our social media master. She's always producing new content, new videos. We work with a lot of partners to provide a lot of public preparedness information. So follow us on social media. We're on all the usual ones, and then even Threads, which is what I'm told the kids use these days. So pending any questions, I think next slide might be a question slide. Here's some contact information. EMinfo is our email address for the entire department. So if you have any questions, you want to call us, email us, here's our contact information. And was there any questions in the chat?
Thank you, Rich and Symphony. We do have a question, and I believe is, how does one person opt in for the rave alert?
Yeah, so it depends entirely where that one person lives. And so if they live in City of Phoenix, they need to opt in through the City of Phoenix. It's all through their jurisdiction. And so if you live in unincorporated Maricopa County, you can register through the sheriff's office. But to opt in for the alerts, that's done through the jurisdiction, the city and town level and tribe level. So I'd point them to the police department for the local jurisdiction. And then our other public information officer, Ron, provided a resource on our website, ready.maricopa. It'll take you to a sign up.
Thank you, Ron, for putting that in there. And I also have a question. So if we go to your website, I know you talked about an emergency, have emergency plan, and then, have your emergency materials or what you will need. Will we have, will your website have that information of what should go into an emergency backpack or bag?
So if we're talking about in real time, if there's an emergency right now, you typically post, if we direct people to maricopa.gov, if you get an alert on your phone that says you need to evacuate, go to maricopa.gov for information. We will on our website have a map showing the impacted location, so you can confirm you live within the areas that are to be evacuated. But in the narrative, we tell you where to go to, what to take. We usually say to take prescriptions, important documents, your pets, a couple days supply of food, and some other things. And I don't know if Ron or Symphony have a better explanation than that.
Yeah, so the link that Ron had provided, ready.maricopa.gov, a big part of our job as communicators is the preparedness messaging. So we want to be pushing that messaging out to people beforehand. So when they go to our website, they can find all the information as to what they should be having in terms of preparedness beforehand. So making sure they have the bags ready to go and what that should entail, having the important documents, having enough food and water for 3 days. All those items are listed on our website. As well as on all of our social media platforms, we put together a lot of different social media videos and preparedness messaging. And we'll elaborate on these different items. And we post those every single week at different messaging, just so we make sure the public is constantly seeing these things so that they're remembering, oh, I need to make sure I have a go bag. Oh, I need to make sure I have an emergency plan. But what is an emergency plan? So we're constantly telling them what these things are beforehand so that when the time comes, they're not like, oh, I need to be making that right now, Does that answer your question?
Yes, it does. And thank you. This is a lot of information, a lot of really good information that we all should have, but it's nice to have a website or a source that we can go to because it is a lot of information. It's really great to be able to go to a single source, a website to gather all of this information. And thank you, Ron, for putting all of the links into our chat, Maricopa.gov ready or readymaricopa.gov. I just have something that I read, and I don't know if you would know this, but I um, I heard that the most I guess emergency situations in Arizona is not our brush fires, but is flooding, and I'm not quite sure if that's true. I don't know if it's because of our monsoons or what.
So typically the most common hazard nationwide is flooding. And so flooding is going to be the most common threat. And so we do have a lot of wildfires. Flooding is going to be, compared to wildfires, flooding kills more people in Arizona. And so we've had, in the last 5 years, we've probably had 20 to 25 wildfires that we have activated for. So we've taken action on, and we've had 0 deaths, and we've had one fire or one flood in the last 5 years, and we had multiple deaths. And so even though wildfires are more common, much more frequent, and they take up a lot of the media attention just because burning up the desert landscape is good news for the media. Flooding for sure is just as significant, and in many cases much more dangerous for people.
Okay. Thank you. I would like to thank Symphony, Rich, and Ron for the information that you provided here today. As I noted before, our presentations and this recording will be posted on the MAG website, and all of the information will be there for you. And I would highly recommend, especially since a lot of this here are service providers, to take a look at their website, look at all the information, and I really enjoyed the videos on there. This is information that you can take back and share with your staff and also with your consumers. So I really appreciate your presentation here today, and thank you for the great information.
Yep. Thanks for having us.
Okay, thank you. And if you have any other questions, feel free to put it in the chat. We can also go forward those to Symphony, Rich, or Ron if you think of something after the meeting. So thank you. So we would like to move on to our next agenda item, and that is our agency spotlight. Many of you here are service providers and actually on the front line of providing necessary services to our community. And we'd like to highlight the great work you are doing in our agency spotlight. I would now like to introduce Camille Bridle with the United Cerebral Palsy of Central Arizona to provide some information on her organization, UCP, and highlight the great work that they are doing. Camille is the Vice President of Marketing and Development. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. I hope your week is off to a great and successful start. And I'd like to ask if I'm able to share my screen. I was unfortunately tardy on my presentation, and if there's an opportunity, would love to be able to share. If not, I can talk through it and send the slide deck at a later date.
You should be able to share.
Okay. All right, very good. Thank you so much. All right, let's see. Okay. All right. So I would like to just start with a little bit about UCP of Central Arizona so you can get our origin story of sorts. UCP of Central Arizona was established in the Valley of the Sun here in 1952. UCP is one of the oldest private nonprofit health and human services organizations in Arizona. Our mission here is to provide comprehensive services to individuals with disabilities and their families, providing physical and developmental support, as well as educational growth, which is the foundation for independent living. We really look at ourselves as a family-oriented and focused business, so we want to make sure that from the individuals receiving our services to their families, guardians, and caretakers, that they feel like this truly is their home. Our vision is that focused on individuals with disabilities in an effort to achieve their full potential and experience equality in the community. And as you'll see through the presentation, our services help to truly meet and reach those very mindsets. Let's see here. Talking about some of the work that we do, we truly believe in the power of possibility. Some of the tag phrases that we have used over the years are life without limits, limitless possibilities, and we truly are living those very words out. We really strive to make sure that individuals in the disability community are able to break their personal barriers, achieve their personal milestones, and embrace their true independence. And this is all made possible by the dedication of our donors. MAG is one of those with our transportation grant, which we'll talk about a little bit later, our partners, our volunteers, and our staff. So we don't achieve these missions and these big dreams on our own. We have a wonderful community rallying around and helping us to make what sometimes seems impossible possible. So let's get into some of our programs. We have a series of ways from the lifespan. So starting with our babies as early as 6 weeks, all the way up to our elder community, we have full services for the duration of that timeline. We'll first start with newly named as of last year, our Arizona Ability Adult Day Program. If you were familiar with our agency, the previous name was Day Treatment for Adults, or Day Treatment and Services for Adults. And we just wanted to change the brand identity and provide something that really encompassed more of the work and the vision. So we're very excited here. I'm showing a picture down at the bottom of a ribbon cutting because up until last year, we did not actually have a building sign. We were simply Building C, but now they have their official location. Arizona Ability provides day services for adults based on an individual customized learning program. Some of the key program implementations are health and wellness, community outreach. By community outreach, what I mean is that with the wonderful vehicles that we have gotten through MAG, we're able to take our adult member participants during the day out to places such as oh gosh, darn, I apologize, to our local food banks to help to pack boxes, to go on fishing trips, and other enriching and meaningful experiences in the community. We also have a full wellness program. And then, of course, your academic studies such as mathematics, money management, and then life skills, learning how to cook the meals, how to do laundry, and some of the day-to-day activities that we do within our households to equip them to be more on that independent living cycle. And I wanted to share here, we just got some numbers in as we are preparing our fiscal year 24 community report. We had in the fiscal year 26 members, and those service hours that were provided were around 36,000 hours through that entire year, which is very remarkable. All right, I'm going to move on to our Arizona Ability Home and Community-Based Services program. We provide these services that is in partnership with the DDD, Division of Developmental Disabilities here. And this too is also a highly personalized, attentive, track of services and learning experiences. The difference between the adult day program and the home and community-based services is really location, because the things and programming that is learned both in the adult day program and home and community-based services are very similar, but they are again individualized to meet the individual where they're at, help them reach and attain their very specific goals. Currently, we had in our home and community-based services 30 members that were under the age of 18, 80 members that were over the age of 18, and roughly 160,000 hours were provided last year in this program area. Next, we'll move on to what we are now calling the ELC. Agency-wise, we're doing some brand refresh. It's about time and it's due. But I did want to show you that our Early Learning Center does have their own transportation fleet, which you'll see down here in the corner. Looks a little bit different from the fleet we have for the adults, but they've got one too. But the Early Learning Center is from babies at six weeks up to pre-K. We have future aspirations of bringing in a kindergarten space, and that will be to be seen. But we have an inclusive environment that fosters empathy at a very early age. We help to prepare children socially and emotionally with invaluable skills for working with individuals that may be different than them. And we love this model and it works beautifully. And we're hoping that with the children that come through our Early Learning Center, that they hold on to these fundamentals as they go into the future. In fiscal year 24, we had 66 unique children, and by unique, those are children, or excuse me, we had unique children. 38 of those children have the special needs. One thing I do want to mention that our families really do like for the children that are enrolled in the Early Learning Center and are also receiving pediatric therapy services, which is in the building right next door, that they are able to have the service, have our therapist come over, meet the child in the Early Learning Center, get them over to therapy safely, take them back over to the Early Learning Center. So that can cut down on one last transportation mode that those families need to experience in the middle of a workday. So location is very convenient. All right, we'll move on to the pediatric therapy clinic. We have two locations because we have our North Phoenix location, which is off of Parkside Lane and 19th Avenue, which is the full service campus. We have our downtown East location, which has our pediatric therapy clinic, and that only services the kiddos, so just pediatric. And we are located in Ability 360's campus, which is roughly off of Washington Street and 52nd. So I wanted to mention that because that is the only space where we have additional services provided. We, again, here are mission driven and we are child centered. And so we make sure that we see and meet individuals again where they're at and provide service to meet their needs. In fiscal year 24, we had 413 children served and provided about 13,000 hours of service in this business area. Let's talk about the people. And one of our key people and key team members is actually on the call today, and you are probably very familiar with him, and that's Wayne Esposito. He has been a remarkable team member and was a part of UCP well before my time here and has done such a great job specifically with the Maricopa Association of Governments and the transportation grants and so much more. He is part of our full-time staff here. We've got 87 full-time staff members, 118 part-time. And I want to mention, why would that part-time number be so big? Because our home and community-based service providers, because they are employed through us, through the DDD program, that's where that number jumps up quite a bit. And then, of course, our volunteers. We can't say enough and speak in such gratitude around our volunteers because they're truly, truly priceless. And we are continuing to find interest in ways to bring on short-term volunteers, event day volunteers, and longer-term volunteers through missionary work, which really is helping us move forward on projects and initiatives that may have taken a little bit longer time, but we invest in those volunteers. We also have community ambassadors, and if you were to visit our visit our website and go to About UCP, look at our ambassadors. This is who I'm talking about. Our community ambassadors are new to us as of last year. These are the individuals who are influencers, both in the local and national community. They could be, you know, celebrity podcasters, sports in the sporting arena. Truly those people that have the ability, some minimal time to go and just share about our agency, but then also provide some services here, such as an adaptive basketball clinic with Stephen Hunter, who is pictured here with the Circle K sign placed behind him. We also have professional musicians who come into our backyard over here at our Adult Day program once a month and have a little concert and a dance session for our members there. So our community ambassadors are really important to us. We appreciate the support. But then we have our family ambassadors who have been in the network for decades. These are the faces that you will see on our digital and our print materials, and we are so thankful to have them there to be in news stories, have their photos, you know, and all of our marketing materials, and share their stories, because it's through their voices that they can touch someone in the community that may not be going exactly or going through exactly what they're dealing with, but they're looking for a support network. That's where our family ambassadors come in, and they are so critical, and we appreciate their ability to share those stories. All right, I want to share a little bit about where we are with the MAG Transportation Ambassador Program. We've been with you guys since 2009, and that is remarkable. Without this program and the support for the transportation for our fleets, past fleets and future fleets, we wouldn't be able to provide the transportation, which, as you've talked about and continue to talk about, it truly is a growing and more critical need than ever. So to have our fleet here of 8 vehicles means the world to us. And then we just recently have gone through, because our fleet is aging, and we will be preparing to discover what we're going to be going next with this direction. But we wanted to make good use of the vehicles that we do have. So we took off the old set of van wrapping, which due to the sun and the weather and the years really started to look bad. We went to a simpler kind of wrap. And so you'll see that here in these 2 pictures. But here again, we're so thankful for the support, and we are hearing an even greater need for our families and our community here for transportation. So we will certainly keep our finger on the pulse there, see what opportunities there are out there to be able to jump in and help a little bit more with those needs. In the meantime, we are again thankful to have these vehicles who do pick our Adult Day members up to alleviate the transportation challenges of their families and caretakers. We get them here onto campus, we take them to enriching and community outings, and just have an overall good experience with really memorable outcomes. And lastly, if you are interested in helping us to kind of grow our network and keep us out there circulating, we are on social media, and all it takes is a simple like or a share to keep our stories at, you know, a high space in the queue. And I will conclude there. Thank you so much for listening. And if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer those for you.
Camille, thank you so much for the information in your presentation. We do, again, like to highlight the great work that you're providing to our
Thank you.
community.
Yeah.
And
Much
if you,
appreciated.
and if you have any questions for Camille, please unmute yourself or put it in the chat. And everybody's on social media. I know.
Yeah,
I
and all we need is a like. A like is all we need. That's it.
So keep that in mind for everybody. And I really appreciate the update regarding the vehicles from the Section 5310 program. You know, it's very informative for us, and it illustrates the need that is out there. So
Yeah.
that's really appreciated, and it's great information for me. And again, all
Good.
of this information it will be on our MAG website, the presentation, and we do know Wayne.
Yes, I know you know Wayne. I see he's incredible. We are so I love working with him, and he keeps us in track and gives us, you know, the outputs of where else we might be looking. So I'm glad that you're in good hands with Wayne here.
Definitely, we are in good hands, and I appreciate if we have workshops or trainings, he's always has these really thoughtful comments or provides feedback. So we greatly appreciate that.
Go Wayne.
Okay, go Wayne. Thank you. And thank you, UCP, for your presentation.
You got it.
Okay. On to our next agenda item. It's regional updates, regional human services transportation updates. And if you would like to be featured in our next TAP meeting for an agency spotlight, please feel free to reach out to Lauren and I. We definitely like to hear all of the great work and share with the community the great work that you're doing. You guys are all of you who are participating today are on the front line providing necessary services to sometimes the most vulnerable in our population. And we really would like to highlight the great work that you do. So if you would like to volunteer, please give us a call or let us know. That would be great. Next slide. I would also, the majority of you here today, I think it was 70%, are subrecipients or of Section 5310. If you, I just wanted to kind of review the timeline if you submitted a grant for this year, but also remember if you're a past recipient and you didn't put in an application for this year, coordination efforts are still required. As long as you have a contract from FTA for the Section 5310 program, you're still required to participate in coordination efforts. But if you are a recent, and I would say very recent because applications were due yesterday, put in an application for Section 5310 in either the Phoenix Mesa Scottsdale area or the Phoenix West Glendale Avenue area. I just wanted to review some of the things some of the important dates that will be coming up. At this point, MAG and the City of Phoenix are doing a 2-week internal review where we'll look at federal eligibility and regional criteria threshold requirements to ensure that all of the project requests are eligible to move forward for evaluation. At this time, we may reach out to some of you for some clarifying information. That information or email will come from Lauren or myself. Once we do our 2-week internal review, all of the eligible applications will go to the MAG Elderly and Persons with Disabilities Transportation Committee. They are the evaluation panel. They will receive all of the applications and we will provide some training on how the evaluation will be conducted. The committee will have an opportunity to ask some questions to those applicants, and it is just focus on your application only. And then those questions, you would expect to receive them by April the 8th. And then by April the 11th, we would expect the responses to those questions. So those would be only on items on your application, public clarification questions. So on April the 22nd, which is a Tuesday, and April the 23rd, there will be a 2-day interview process with the EPDT committee. And that's when all of the applicants who are submitted an application will come in for a 15-minute interview. And at that time, the applicants will provide just a very short synopsis of your agency and your project request. And then the committee may have additional questions to ask at that time. So it is a requirement for all of the applicants who submitted an application to attend this meeting. More information will be provided, and I was going through Lauren. She will provide a schedule and then instructions on how that goes. And then after the priority listing of applications are developed, agencies will receive a selection notice by June, July of this year. Do we have any questions at this time? Okay,
Dee Dee, I have a quick question.
sure.
For the interviews this year, are they going to be in person or are they going to be online?
They're going to be virtual.
Okay,
Yes. Okay.
thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for that. They will be virtual via Zoom. Okay. Any other questions? Okay. I will move on. And for those that are not Section 5310 subrecipients, but would like more information, definitely reach out to myself or Lauren, and we can provide you with more information on that. I also wanted to provide an update that we still have our TAP recognition program. We are accepting nominations for years of service and driver of the quarter. So please submit your nominations, and they will be recognized at the next TAP meeting. Has Camille, illustrated with Wayne being here, all of your staff are doing such great work, and we do want to take a moment to recognize all of the hard work at the years of service, your drivers, and just to let them know how much they are appreciated, providing these really necessary services to our community. So keep that in mind. Our next TAP meeting, I believe, will be in May. Okay, thank you.
And
And
Dee Dee, where do we find those applications?
we will send out a notice before the next TAP meeting with the, save the date, and we will provide that link on there.
Perfect, thank you.
Okay. Any other questions? Okay. And that really concludes all of my regional updates. We are busy with the application process. Thank you for all of you who've submitted your application. We are again in our 2-week review process. If you have any questions regarding that, again, reach out to myself or Lauren, and we can provide you some, hopefully a response. You can also reach out to the City of Phoenix if you have any questions on the program itself. If we have no further questions, we can go to the next presentation. And our next agenda item is Subregional Mobility Managers updates. And I would like to now turn this over to Lauren Marshall to introduce this agenda item.
Thank you, Dee Dee. So we will start off our Subregional Mobility Manager updates with some updates about our MAG workshops and trainings. The first one is our PASS training, which is Passenger Assistance, Safety, and Sensitivity Training. And that is a certified driver program designated to ensure passengers are transported in the most safe, sensitive, and careful manner possible. Certified drivers learn safety techniques, sensitivity skills that are appropriate for transporting older adults and people with disabilities. PASS training is sponsored by the Community Transportation Association of America, and I am a certified PASS trainer, and we will have trainings throughout the year. Upcoming dates are April 25th at STARS, the September 26th and December 12th dates we are still determining those locations. And you can find more information and links to register for those on the MAG Human Services Transportation webpage. And then moving on to workshops, our sub-regional mobility managers offer workshops on various topics, including preventative maintenance, driver safety, de-escalation, transporting passengers with special needs, fleet management, vehicle sharing, and other ones. These workshops are used as a strategy to ensure that training requirements and standards are universally met for providers transporting older adults and people with disabilities. And again, information about these workshops can be found on the Human Services Transportation Workshops webpage, as well as dates and links to register for those. So with that, I will go over to our mobility managers to let them talk about their workshops that they have coming up.
Okay, thanks, Lauren, and thanks everybody for being here. I have a couple of workshops that I do sort of regularly they're really meant more as sort of guided conversations about various issues. And the two of them are, one is It's a Moving Target, and the other one is Let Me Out of This Box. And I kind of put those programs together and sort of really with the intention of sort of taking a look at any particular item that's going on for nonprofits relating to transportation or just relating to doing business at any given time. And so these workshops tend to cover a various number of topics, and they change a lot. And so just to give a sort of a snapshot of some of the stuff that we've worked on before is vehicle loaning, which is probably one of the most consistent items that I've talked about and done workshops on. And that's basically creating relationships with other businesses so that they can actually borrow your vehicle. And it's a real good form of collaboration, and there's a whole system that revolves around that. So I look at that. Vehicle disposals is something that I've been doing a lot of work on, and was involved in some changes to the City of Phoenix vehicle disposal policy on a couple of different occasions. And then I also work with ADOT on their disposal policies, and to try to find something that is really very user-friendly for us as providers in the event that we have vehicles that we want to share through the disposal process. So I look at that. My trainings also cover topics relating to personnel and recruitment, and brokerage systems for vehicle sharing, also other personnel things, DEI, also just other sharing opportunities for people to learn more about what's going on. We did a lot on ARPA when a lot of organizations were getting ARPA funding, and sort of how that was managing with your business. And as I said, a lot of this started during COVID, and it really became sort of a rotating agenda of different things. And so in addition to that, as some of you probably know, I also do training in completing 5310 applications, which I've done for years. And of course, just got done the training, and all of you probably, or many of you already got done submitting your applications. So hopefully, if you had a chance to attend that hopefully it was of some help to you. So that's a real quick snapshot for me of some of the stuff that I work on. And unless anybody has any questions, we could go to the next person.
It's Dr. Williams with Gompers, and our trainings are pretty consistent as well. We have transporting passengers with special needs, and then we have the de-escalation workshop, which is great for the verbal and nonverbal prevention strategies. So hopefully behavior does not escalate. Those are ours. Does anybody have any questions? And our trainer Heather presents those. Thank you.
Dawn, would you like to go next?
Sure. Good afternoon, Dawn Hawking with TCH. So we have a new fleet and facilities manager who's getting up to speed on everything Section 5310. So in the interim, I am the lead mobility manager. And a couple of our topics are enhancing mobility through technology. That's been the one that we've been doing consistently. And recognizing that the other topic that we were doing was very similar to that, so it felt very redundant. So we are combining those two into one. And then the topic to be determined, I think we've come up with, is compliance and Title IV, so that everybody has, I'm sorry, Title VI. I was doing something with Title IV earlier. And so we went through the compliance evaluation recently, so it gave me some good insights, and this way we can maybe help everybody else be better prepared for the compliance side of being a 5310 subrecipient. And I don't know if anybody has any questions. Thank you.
And Justin, are you on today? Justin McGregor, I should clarify. It does not look like Justin is on, so I can go ahead and talk about his workshops. Justin provides our subrecipients with training on driver safety and preventative maintenance. He definitely goes over everything that is needed to keep your fleet running smoothly and keep your drivers safe behind the wheel when they're transporting your passengers. And the dates for his upcoming workshops are up on the screen. And Dee Dee, that is all I have for the mobility managers update.
Thank you to all of our mobility managers. They are such a great community liaison, providing these workshops and all of these trainings. We greatly appreciate the work that they do, and they are from nonprofit agencies, you know, and they do other work at their agency. So I'm sure Justin is probably attending, you know, something that has to do with his work. So thank you, everybody. You know, this is truly a community initiative. And if you have any topics, or if there's any issues that you see that, you know, you would like for us to explore, or any training topics you would like to see, please feel free to reach out to us or the subregional mobility managers, and we can look at developing a workshop. And this is for you, to help support you. You are the ones providing the services to our community, so thank you. I would like to thank all of our speakers here today, all of the great information they provided. And again, if you would like any information, or if you would like to see a presentation, please feel free to reach out to us. If you would like to volunteer to be an agency spotlight, please reach out to us. That'd be great. And thank you for all that you do, all the work that you do. And thank you for being here today. We greatly appreciate your time. Have a great afternoon. Here is a gift of time back. Thank you.